today out with a hand injury.
That's a guy, Bruce, who has 5 punt return touchdowns in his career. He's over on the sideline. Baylor is ready for this thing, and we will see if unbeaten TCU still is that in 60 minutes. Off we go from Waco, Texas on a chilly Saturday, and a bat from Monterey Baldwin on the opening return of the ball game gets him to the 24-yard line. Blake Chapin, the sophomore from Shreveport, who's a baseball player, a stud baseball recruit, along with his football prowess. More interceptions, substantially more this year than the 0 he had last year. And he's kind of been in between confidence-wise, and you see it in the numbers last week, Brock.
Yeah, his coordinator, Jeff Grimes, couldn't have been more clear with us yesterday. He's got to rip it today. The team feeds off of a quarterback. They're going to create a lot of misdirection, a lot of layups for him, but when the time is there to take a shot, he's got to pull the trigger.
There's motion on the first play of the ball game for Baylor and Squirrel Williams. It gets to about the 30. Here's the offensive line for Baylor with their 31 rushing touchdowns. Micah Mazuka, whose last name rhymes with bazooka very fittingly considering the violence he provides on the left side of the line. You saw Williams on the first carry. Baldwin is the big play threat. When we were here for the Oklahoma State game, he had a monster against the Cowboys, and they need it again today. It's a run on second down, and Quaylen Jones breaking the first tackle and getting drilled at the 37-yard line by Millard Bradford in that secondary. Terrell Cooper on the defensive line makes his 37th career start right next to the 17-year-old starting this season, Dominic Williams, now 18. D. Winters, one of the captains at the linebacker spot, is the sack leader for TCU. And in the secondary, Travius Hodges Tomlinson, the nephew of LaDainian. You may have heard that already, but he has started to pick the ball off at a very strong clip. First down for Baylor. It is Squirrel Williams, who had an outstanding game in Norman a couple of weeks ago.
You know, one thing that's a little unique here, Jason, we didn't know this. Most Jeffrey is starting at left guard, not Mazuka, their most powerful player. So I don't know if that was a late scratch, an injury. It doesn't look like it's causing any issues because he's an experienced fifth-year guy. But that entire group right now, first couple runs, moving these Horned Frogs off the line of scrimmage.
You add experience and take out some of a little bit of the power. As Chapin on the roll has a throw and a first down catch for Monterey Baldwin across the 45.
One thing you do with a quarterback that's in between in the pocket, Jason, is you get him outside. It clears the picture. It's an easier read, and Chapin, the old shortstop, can zing it. I mean, they love his talent. They just want it to come to life, and a nice job of getting him on the perimeter and simplifying the game.
Gets to the fringe, and a strong opening drive for Baylor.
I'll count that as the third misdirection play of this drive. Fast flow is what this TCU defense is. So what are we going to do? We're going to set it up one way and come back. There's Jeffrey, that left guard I mentioned, does a terrific job on the counter. You want to get all that team speed going in one direction and pull people around either in the pass game or you call that a hand back counter. Well executed.
We saw how inventive Jeff Grimes was when he was the offensive coordinator at BYU with Zach Wilson for a couple of years. This is the short toss they ran so well against Texas Tech. And across the 20-yard line is Craig Squirrel Williams.
Some of these matchups, and we've had a number of them this year, Jason, with an underdog. Right? And what they have done, that underdog well, is they possess the ball and they minimize possessions, and it puts more and more pressure on that number 4 team in the country, especially a group that's been driven largely by their offense this season in TCU.
Baylor in 2 wins has held the ball over 40 minutes this year. Chapin on the keep, and Hodges Tomlinson knocks him down. It's going to be 3rd and 1.
That was a big-time play by number 1. It shows his competitive want-to. He had 320 pounds in his face, and he dodged Jeffrey to make that tackle and force this third and 1. Well done, Hodges Tomlinson.
And you heard a little bit of a roar from the crowd because Dylan Doyle, number 5, is in as the fullback. He's a linebacker. He scored a couple of touchdowns this year, and he's the lead blocker for Williams. It's a toss, and it is very close. And it looks like, let's see, depends on where the ball goes down. He might be a little bit short, Brock.
That was a student body and then some, all to the left. But Abe Kamara, 14, is going to come into the screen. A nice job on the pin there by the tight end Johnson. But there's Kamara. And you're right, I think his backside is down before the ball is able to stretch across the 15.
Baylor goes for it on 4th down, the second most in the country. 21 times they've made it. This is 4th and 1. And it's straight up the middle for Doyle and a first down for Baylor. Well, look, when we talked to Dylan Doyle about a month ago, he said he's more nervous on offense by far than he is on defense because he just doesn't do it that much. But he's been in there a lot this year.
And he's been impactful, and that was an impactful conversion here to try to do something they didn't do in 60 minutes last week, Jason, and that's score a touchdown.
31-3 last week at the hands of Kansas State. Monterey Baldwin off the motion. Got to the outside, but Kamara was right there, and it's 2nd down.
Well, you saw it on the 3rd and 1, coming screaming downhill to Abe Kamara. That time he's got to chase Baldwin all the way across the field and make a tackle. When you play a 3-safety defense, it is imperative that those guys tackle on the back end. And Perry, Bradford, Kamara, Clark, OBIs are all 5 of them play, and all of them get the job done in the open field.
Quaylen Jones cuts it inside and scores.
When the outside zone run game works, Jason, it's like a bunch of rhinos dancing. And look at these guys in rhythm. That is a dance class, moving human beings off the ball and creating so much room for the 240-pound back to plant his foot and put 7 on the board.
You know, as a former quarterback, how much offensive linemen like getting into that running rhythm. That was 9 run plays on the opening drive for Baylor. 7-0 Baylor, and we'll take you to break with our Progressive Insurance Game Flow. Just fired their head coach, and that's what happened last year. Gary Patterson gone, Jerry Kill was on the sideline, and all sorts of new looks for Baylor, who's got a 7-0 lead in a possible revenge game today, until we get a look at Max Duggan, the senior from Pottawatomie County, Iowa, and Council Bluffs on the western side of the state. He is a senior who lost his starting job to Chandler Morris. You may have heard that. Got it back because of injury and has never relinquished it again. And the word tough encapsulates this kid.
The story of his career and really the chapters being written in this season, they're just an example of this team, Jason. They take a punch and they come right back. And, you know, that opening drive, they take a punch. They've been doing it all season. Max taking them for 4 years, but they continue to respond.
There's Kendre Miller on the opening carry of the ball game, and he is stacked up. Marshall and Franklin got in there, and here is that TCU offensive line. Alon Ali, the transfer from SMU, who's really stabilized that offensive line, and a gritty guy who's not very unwilling to get after somebody. Quentin Johnson had the massive game against Kansas, and he is back and healthy now. The big play threat on the outside. Davis is out, as we mentioned. We expect for the game. This opening throw goes to Quentin Johnston, and it's 3rd down for the Baylor defense. And Apu Ika is nicknamed Apu, the defensive tackle, who takes on so many blocks.
And they're going to try to create more one-on-one opportunities for him. They've been such an odd front. He's absorbed so much contact. There's Doyle, the linebacker. And on the back end of this defense, this is where the game will be won or lost. Got to play much better than they did a week ago.
Assignment sound is the key, says Ron Roberts. This throw is off the mark from Duggan to Johnston, and Baylor, which knocked off about 6 minutes off the clock, will get it back after a 3-and-out. Another tough first possession for TCU.
Yeah, and that is what Baylor thought of Max Duggan. They thought if they could take away his first read and you make him get to number 2 or 3, he's a different guy. He's a tremendous runner. Texas sacked him a bunch. They got after Max Duggan. That's a miss, and he knows it. He had an open Johnson streaking across on the cross, and he misfires.
There were yards after the catch available there. Jordy Sandy with the punt. He's very good at avoiding returns, and a fair catch there for Monterey Baldwin. Baylor has played keep away at points this year when the Bears have been successful. The offense gets it back next. 22 years ago, he was the last guy hired on a Texas Tech staff that Sonny Dykes was on as well over on the TCU sideline. And Dave Aranda has come a long way from refrigerator builder. Here's a run for Richard Reese, the freshman, down the sideline across midfield, and a first down Baylor.
Well, this offense has come a long way from where they were a week ago. It starts with the kick and the pull around, and just getting to the edges of this TCU defense, something they could not do against K-State a week ago. They couldn't get that crease. They couldn't get those explosive runs. That's now 10 runs to just 2 passes to begin.
More misdirection. Baldwin the other direction, and he keeps his feet. Somehow gets across the 45. Mark Perry pushed him out of bounds.
It was Hodges Tomlinson again. We saw it on the opening drive. Worked through 2 linemen that time, a quarterback, and does enough through contact there to slow that play down. That had a chance to be a touchdown if Hodges Tomlinson does not do his job.
Kelsey Johnson, the tight end, pushing Hodges Tomlinson into Baldwin. Chapin's throw a little bit high, but caught by Baldwin, who's had a very busy first quarter.
He's their difference maker. When he's on, he is their fastest, most explosive player. Been battling a little bit of a hamstring. That's Chapin's game right there. 60% of his passes are in cuts. It's what he sees and does best. And I love this plan by Grimes. Holy smokes. Running right, running left, misdirection, quick passing game. It's TCU on their heels.
The freshman Reese has a lane, and he's across the 25 in midair, down to about the line to gain.
You can run outside zone in a number of different ways. This is like the old school Broncos, right? And Terrell Davis just seal that edge. You don't always have to hand it. That's a toss outside zone with a little pin and pull, but it's the movement. In order to run outside zone, it takes a ton of commitment, and it takes a ton of movement at the line of scrimmage. They're getting both done early.
You getting flashbacks to Tom Nalen?
Yeah, Mark Schlereth.
Yeah, how about it? This is going absolutely nowhere. It's the tight end Johnson, and the ball's on the ground. Jamoy Hodge punched it loose. They're going to call it an incomplete pass. This is incomplete.
It's an incomplete pass as the ball hit the ground. Second down.
Wow, and for Baylor, it is a good thing the ball hit the ground. Trying to run a little gap screen, right? You do all the fun stuff. It does hit the ground on a couple occasions there, but wow, one of the first opportunities for the Horned Frogs to display their speed and ferocity defensively.
That was in midair for a little bit longer than Baylor would have liked. Back to the run, Quaylen Jones, and a 3rd down and 10. That's Johnny Hodges, the transfer from Navy, who's been so important to this team on the tackle.
And he just said, finally, enough. I'm going to plant my heels at 5 yards deep, and I'm going to take off like a Navy missile and run through that outside zone. Just stuff that play at the line.
What's 3rd and 10 look like for Jeff Grimes?
Well, get to a number that you feel willing to go for it, because I don't think they're going to settle for field goals.
That's a flag coming in. And we'll hear from Scott Campbell for the first time today.
False start. Number 72. Offense. 5-yard penalty. Still 3rd down.
Over the last couple years of watching these Baylor Bears, I'm almost getting used to, I don't even look at 3rd down in the number. It's for Jeff Grimes. He calls it a magic number, and Dave Aranda gives it to him ahead of time. What you need to get to go for on 4th down, as you said, something they do more than anybody else.
Sean Bell, their quarterbacks coach, in charge of those calls. Shapen to throw down the edge and incomplete for Monterey Baldwin. Bud Clark had enough contact to set up 4th down.
And that is a picture of the hesitation they're talking about. Baldwin has 5 yards. They run a beautiful concept. A nice job for Clark to get in and knock it away, but the only reason he did is because Shapen was late. He had that throw. He hesitated a moment. And yeah, he took a little lick as well, but that was a touchdown missed.
John Mayers from 46. And still, it's no good. He had it right up in the middle of the upright, but it didn't have the distance. Wow. Mayers could not put it through. His first miss of the year ends up falling short.
I can put you in.
Fans voted and Wendy's and Fox College Football listen. Today's Wendy's Viewers Choice Cam will be focusing on the trenches. Go to CFB on Fox on Twitter to enjoy this alternative view for the rest of the game. So TCU takes over, a 3-and-out for the Horned Frogs. Baylor misses a field goal for the first time this year, and Kendre Miller is swallowed up by Cole Maxwell. Back to the 3rd down play.
Yeah, they miss a field goal. They miss a touchdown. Watch the route here. And he's beat. Monterey Baldwin's open. Throw it now. Throw it now, Blake. And he's just a tick late. And because of it, he gives Bud Clark an opportunity to make up for it. You've got to throw it. When you've got your shots to beat the number 4 team in the country, you got to throw it early. You got to throw it with anticipation. He waited a half second, and it cost him 6. Thank you.
Duggan down the field, middle of the field, right on target for Johnston.
Because this team will take their shots. And it's what they do and what this guy does as well as anybody in the country at 6'4". He closes the cushion of the senior Milton, gets right on his toes. And Duggan, his favorite ball is that one, the deep shots. 2nd in the country, 56% when he chucks it over 20+ yards.
The best big play offense in college football. Now Duggan to throw in stride for Trent Battle, the freshman who's dumped across the line to gain by Lemire, 1st down. And yet again, Dave Aranda said it. The most interesting thing about TCU is how they get back up off the mat. They trail basically every week.
They are a veteran team on both sides. Seniors galore. Transfers that have added maturity, and because of it, they don't flinch.
Miller right up the middle. He just drives those legs. I mean, we're talking to him about breaking tackles, and he did right there. Sonny Dykes, in his first year at TCU, taking over a 5-7 team, and man, has his confidence grown as well.
Yeah, just so comfortable in his own skin. This is the best job of his life. The son is Spike. Right, he knows how to coach, but for the first time of the 4 spots he's been, he's now gotten every resource available to him on and off the field to develop his program.
Which is undefeated so far this year. Max Duggan to throw, and he gets it to the edge for Savion Williams, and a 1st down and goal for TCU.
You can see when Duggan's got his first read, and the run helps it. That's just an RPO. Everybody's block and run game. But when he's got his first crumb, it leads to cookies. And what Baylor wants to do, and they did in the opening drive, is make him hold the ball. Make him think about it. Take that first read away. This drive not been able to do so, and you see the difference in rhythm and timing.
Duggan throws it quickly again. That's Kendre Miller, and he dives for a yard. That was Marshall knocking him down. 2nd and goal.
You know, Sonny Dykes said to us yesterday, short yardage situations in the red zone. He's been around ball forever. I think he's got great instincts, and we're seeing it come to life this season more than ever before. And I said, sit in my seat, be the analyst. What are the biggest keys? Scoring touchdowns in the red zone in short yardage situations. Well, here's their first big red zone opportunity.
We've got Johnston at the top of the screen. Tay Barber in motion. And it's Duggan on the run. He scores!
We're bragging about those big boys for Baylor on the O-line. How about these two? How about Ali and Harris, veteran players? You get a body on the ground right there. That sets the table. That was big boy Ika as well. That's 340 pounds. They knock to the ground, and Duggan shows off what he's arguably best at. Like Bo Nix a week ago, tremendous with his legs in the red zone.
Maybe most comfortable with as well as a default setting. When Baylor saw these guys a couple years ago, he was basically, they said, a wildcat quarterback. Well, he just ran it in to tie the ball game at 7 late first quarter. And was no worse for the wear and led them to another win. Here a rushing touchdown.
Tough sucker.
This kick goes running through the end zone. And a touchback. Baylor last year wins the Big 12 title. TCU looks very similar.
Pretty remarkable numbers. You got to run the ball. That's what teams have to do in November and December on cold, windy days. You got to stop that big play. Offense that you will face in this conference. Take care of the ball. Don't hurt yourselves. Penalties. I mean, that's a remarkable comparison between the 12-2 champion Baylor team and the 10-0 unblemished TCU crew.
That is for sure going to the Big 12 title game and maybe the college football playoff. Shapen on the roll, feels the heat and throws it high. And for more on Shapen, here's Bruce.
Jason, what Brock said a few minutes ago about how Shapen, they missed that opportunity on the last series. You could tell it was really wearing on him on the bench. The coaches were trying to encourage him about just like, let's be on the same page. But what you saw from his expression was he really looked kind of beyond disappointed, almost dejected. It'll be interesting to see how he responds right now.
Former baseball player, and Dave Aranda, that look, he's seen it with Blake at times, in between. And it's the worst place a baseball player can be, and a quarterback as well.
And a marker comes in. So a false start stopped the previous drive.
It's Keith, the right
tackle. False start, number 64. Offense, 5-yard penalty, still second down.
And they're antsy up front. And I think you've seen 2 false starts because Jeff Grimes all week, it's been, hey, we got to go hit these guys. They scream downhill. They are not wasting any time. This is not a read and react. This is a speed and flow defense. I think those 2 false starts by a couple veteran linemen are because they know they've got to get out of their stances and get on these Horned Frogs.
10 sneaky yards already. Monterey Baldwin been used quite a bit as the motion man, and he gets absolutely whacked by Shadrack Banks.
Yeah, that's 250 on 164. There's a lot of inertia and weight on the side of Banks, fast flowing across and delivering a textbook tackle.
He could have got caught up in the wash and did not. So now Baylor changing the play here. Shapen roaming to his left to load up a throw down the field. Cameron is right there.
Rolling on the field is a completed catch for a first down.
There was a little confusion by TCU earlier. They don't get the big play. This time they do. Once again, you run those mesh routes down the field and you make those defenders hesitate for a second. And that time Cameron takes it to the corner and Shapen gives him a chance.
41 yards from Shapen to the redshirt freshman Cameron. And Baylor has exhausted the first quarter with TCU running 10 total plays. In that category, Baylor leads. On the scoreboard, we're tied at 7 after 1. That's 2 Big 12 teams that were 10-0. Both in Game 11 lost to Baylor. 10-0 mortuary. Throw from Shapen. He's got Cameron again. And it looks like Shapen might have rectified the confidence issue.
Well, the opening drive, remember, first completion was on the move. These two completions have both once again been on the move this time, and I love it, to the left. And this is the advantage of a shortstop. Right, shortstop's got to play a ball in the hole to his right. To his left is just as comfortable flipping his hips either way. And Jeff Grimes knows what he's doing as a play caller.
Who says the shift isn't valuable for middle infielders? Here's a run for Squirrel Williams and a first down for Baylor.
And here we are nearing the red zone. I mean, just a critical area where previous drive, a penalty, a missed opportunity, knock you back, and you miss a field goal into the breeze. Against the number 4 team, you are just not going to be able to settle for field goals. Against the number 4 team in the country who's taken a punch again and again and won in the later rounds, you've got to deliver blows as in 6 points when you get near this red zone.
Coming back from 18 down against Kansas State. There's that toss again. Here's Squirrel Williams again, and he is drilled down by Bud Clark. Joe Gillespie, the defensive coordinator, longtime high school football coach in the state of Texas, came over from Tulsa with this 3-down front.
And he believes in it. It was actually as a head coach at Stevensville that in game he made a switch to 3-down, and he's never looked back since. He loves what it does to his players' demeanor. Loves how they can just fly all over the field, and they're going to continue to do that. Play a lot of man-to-man coverage and cut guys loose.
Counteraction for Reese, and the freshman goes down. Shadrick Banks again fills a gap.
He's a big man that can move, and just watch these linebackers. Just watch them fast flow. And that time, Banks right through the block of the tight end, Sims, the senior. The one-time A&M commit showing you why at 250 pounds and could run. Built a little different.
He had the huge interception against Baylor last year to seal the win in Fort Worth, and a couple big tackles early this afternoon. Shapen on the pitch. Quaylen Jones gets to the edge, and he gets inside the 5.
This play looked dead, and give a lot of credit to Kelsey Johnson. The true freshman tight end out here in space does a good job of just staying on the block. Josh Newton right there was in the right position. If he just does his job and keeps contained, the Horned Frogs are going to make that tackle and force a 4th down. Instead, he loses it, and give a star on that block to Johnson.
It's the 5th run of 10 or more yards already for Baylor. And there's that tight end Johnson in motion. He gets to the edge and scores.
Kelsey Johnson the ball carrying the end zone to the back. Touchdown.
He's a 5-tool tight end.
And he's a true freshman, scoring the first of his career. Going to come in motion and be really the jet guy here. But it's TCU losing contain. All of these 10-plus runs. One similar theme for Joe Gillespie and his side of the ball. You've got to set an edge. If you don't, doesn't matter if it's a receiver, a running back, in that case a tight end, will make it happen.
You imagine him in like 30 years saying, and I outran a guy to the corner too. And people are going to say, well, Grandpa, no, we don't believe that. We got footage of it. Tight end misdirection, Baylor by 7. In Waco, Texas. But you can still sing along to Bon Jovi. We've learned during the break, Baylor's run 27 plays, 19 so far in TCU territory. And DiMercato back to receive the kickoff for TCU. There's a marker coming in, and he's down at the 24-yard line.
Penalty marker down.
During the return, holding number 12, return team, 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. First down.
It's on Spivey, and now for TCU, you've only seen the ball for 4:45. Baylor's had it for more than 13 minutes. What does this drive look like?
Well, first of all, you got to get out of the shadows of your goalpost. So you got to get a first down. Most importantly, this is a team that is built on responding. There's Garrett Riley. Patience a week ago as a play caller in a frustrating game in Austin, but a game he called to win. This is a game he's going to have to call to respond to Baylor's offense.
Max Duggan had the rushing touchdown. Now he throws the ball this side for Barber in stride. The big play, Frogs strike again.
This is a great concept. This one his brother does at USC as well. Love the deep over route. Call it cross country. You sell that like you're coming to the deep over, and instead they break it high to the corner. And Duggan, you said it earlier, sometimes he just likes contact, even from a 340-pounder like Apu right there delivering the shot, and he couldn't have put it in a better spot.
He didn't even see the finish of that play. He was on the gold turf, but it was 77 yards down the field. They end up. DeMercado shimmying through the hole, and he's down at about the 9 in the arms of Garmin Randolph.
You know, Baylor's whole thing today was try to eliminate the big play. Right, they're usually a soft zone team and try to keep everything in front of them, but that is 2 shots down the field. One versus man, that time versus zone, where Duggan's showing off what he does best, which is that deep ball down the field.
Yeah, and just about getting to him isn't good enough. Changing the play here.
They call 2 in the huddle when you hear Killip getting the second one.
It's a second down run, and it's Kendre Miller with Matt Jones draped on him. 3rd down TCU.
He is just a powerful young man, and I love what he said to us. Difference this year, I'm squatting heavy in season, and I don't care. Squat 650 in the offseason, but even in season, well, what's heavy mean? I don't know, 5-something? Okay. That's a lot of plates on the bar. You kind of lose count after a while, but it adds up to a lot of broken tackles and carrying defenders over the course of a season.
And he has told us breaking tackles means I'm doing my job in the weight room. He loves that sensation. 3rd and 3 for TCU. Duggan, live. Johnston didn't have room, and a marker comes in. Milton on the coverage, and 1st and goal TCU likely.
Wow, this ball was well out of bounds.
Pass interference, number 3. Defense. That penalty occurred in the end zone. We'll put the ball at the 2-yard line, automatic, 1st down.
Yeah, you see Milton's face right here. When you're playing against a bigger, dominant first-round NFL guy, you got to close the cushion, but look at how far. I mean, that ball is 5 yards out of bounds.
For me, that's not a catchable ball.
No, if Quentin were 12 feet tall, it's not a catchable ball.
Now, if they were to call holding there, it wouldn't matter about the catchability, but the call was pass interference, and so that's part of the calculus. 1st and goal, TCU. Duggan, quick set, laser to Johnston, and he goes crumpling down in a heap because of Devin Lemire. Mike Pereira is with us. What did you see on that last play, Mike?
You know, I agree with you. I think catchability is tough to determine, but that's clearly out of bounds. And secondly, on these fade routes, as long as both the defender and the receiver are looking back to the ball, then you let them play. So I really don't even like the interference call itself.
Thank you, Mike.
That would have been a 3rd down sock, too.
TCU may have gone for it. We don't know. Right now, it's 2nd and goal. Miller, the tailback. He hunts end zones, and he's there again with muscle thundering through.
Yeah, this is no nonsense. A terrific job of pinning people down, and mama, don't let your baby grow up to be a cornerback. Tackling a horse like that. Mark Milton.
Man, Kendre Miller's 12th straight game with a touchdown to lead the nation. I mean, there should be a horn or a whistle on this train to let people know. field, and then eventually Kendre Miller just thudded his way into the end zone to tie the game again.
Yeah, I mean, those squats that Kendre does and running backs do, you felt every bit of it right there. I mean, I didn't, you didn't, but Mark Milton did.
We heard it up here in the booth. To kick it off for TCU. Monterey Baldwin back to receive for Baylor. He will take it out. Baldwin on the return. Doesn't get to the 25. You know, you wake up on the weekend and you think, time to watch some cartoons. Well, here's a cartoon for you. TCU's in charge of the Big 12, the Schooner, and they got Bevo, but they can't get in to the college football playoff party just yet, even though they've swallowed up all of these ranked dragonflies. They need some insecticide over in that town square. I feel like they took Texas down and swallowed that team up, and then out goes Tennessee because they lost, and then Clemson, and you see the elephant for the folks in Tuscaloosa, and now it's just a big old party for the Horned Frogs, the Hypnotoad. Any good story has a great beginning, middle, and end, as TCU has had so far this year in that cartoon. There's Squirrel Williams, and a squirrel was the only thing missing from that cartoon.
And that was well done, and that was the second time they've run that hand-back play for the same level of success. TCU's got to figure something out here defensively. Right? A week ago, so good against Texas. Less than 200 yards. Was in the backfield. They were just flying around. And you could see the difference a weekend can make. And right now, that Baylor run game and all the misdirection has these guys running wild.
Play action to Williams. Chapin will take it that direction here, and he is cleaned out by the captain, D. Winters.
That's a part of it. And when they've gotten to the tackles, right, when they've gotten into some of the open field, we have seen Banks on a couple occasions, and this time the leading sacker, the leading tackle for loss, captain, does his job to corral and force a 3rd and 5.
D. Winters, whose friend in middle school gave him purple gloves, so then he became a TCU fan. Just think, if he hadn't had those gloves, he may not be here at TCU. 3rd and 5. It is Williams, and he is very close to the line to gain. Let's see where they spot it. Baylor's offensive line says first down, and that's going to be short.
Does it matter?
I don't think so. Do you think so?
No.
Yeah, this is a go for it for Baylor.
I think if the ball were at their own 3-yard line, it's a go for it.
We're going to bring Doyle in as the fullback. Joe Gillespie's ready for this. You watch Baylor tape, and there's 4th down, go for it all over the tape. They do snap it. It is play action. It is Doyle out of the backfield. Look at the party on the sideline.
That's a gutsy call, but a nice little kind of pick concept here as Cameron's going to go up and just nudge that safety enough. And I bet for Doyle, he felt like that ball was in the air forever.
You know somebody on the sidelines yelling, Doyle rules. First down, Chapin. Spinning the ball, waiting, buying time, and eventually into traffic and incomplete. Mark Perry got a hand up at 2nd down. So Baylor converts on 4th down. Sonny Dykes is unhappy.
He wants a hold, and Kelsey Johnson held. And he knows how big 10 yards are in negative plays. The freshman tight end got away with one right in clear view, allowing Chapin to throw it away, and Sonny didn't like it.
The line judge, Keith Garman, said, I heard you. 2nd down, and Chapin tunnels across the 40-yard line.
And that poor line judge has nothing to do with it. It's on the other side of the field, and he's just got to take the earful.
Yeah, that's what they call wearing it. Oh, he still is.
He says, can you tell on your walkie-talkie right there? Go tell the other guy. Make the call next time, please.
99% of the words in that conversation were spoken by one portion of the conversation. Williams coming back to the short side to sneak on through, and the Squirrel has himself a first down.
Once again, it's the big fellas. It's Miller, it's Byers. This outside zone, they've been blocking down and pulling the big men in front. Look at it. Look at the 600 pounds come around, and then it's target practice. Boom, boom, just moving people. But it starts, Jason, at setting the edge. And they're setting the edge first and allowing those pullers to come around. TCU does not start setting the edge. They've got no chance to slow down this offense.
Which has run for $157 already. Short toss. It's Baldwin on the flip for Shapen. He's under siege, and down he goes. Johnny Hodges was in there first. Dylan Horton, too.
Love the shot. But TCU had it covered on the back end, and this thing just took a long time, right? Long developing play. The relentlessness of the Navy transfer. Hodges, his buddy Horton, now with his 4th sack of the season. Risk reward. Thought you could burn that TCU defense on the back end. They didn't, and on the front end, they got home.
We talked about the maturity of those transfers. You saw it from Hodges there, the transfer from Navy, who's played a lot of football despite being under-recruited. Shapen, late decision, and he just got it to Sims. Hodges Tomlinson was sniffing a pick there.
You see that Shapen is a lot more comfortable outside the pocket. You start to play between the tackles right now, and that vision and just the clock and the trust isn't what it is outside, where he's done more of his damage today. 3rd and 16, once again, don't think about getting 16 yards when you're watching Baylor offensively. Think about getting 7 or 8 and allowing Jeff Grimes to get to an extra long 4th down call sheet he has.
Shapen feels the rush, takes a hit, slings it, and puts it on target for Hal Presley's first catch. And that's enough, certainly, to go for it on 4th down.
He didn't just take a hit. He got spun around like a top. Look at, I think it's D. Winters that comes in here and just uncorks.
But Jeff Grimes told us, look, if he can stay in the pocket, take a hit, and rip it, that's a good sign for us. And he did. 4th and 1. Shapen will pitch it. Williams is stopped. Mark Perry and friends get the ball back for TCU.
Timeout on the field.
Might he have wanted to sneak that if he had the look?
It could have, but they've gotten the edge so many times, but not that time. Obi Izor sets the edge. The Horned Frogs come and finish.
A crosstown rivalry between USC and UCLA is all coming up at the half. But right now, back to you, Jason and Brock.
Mike, thank you very much. That's a huge one in the Pac-12, and here is yet another 1st down run for Kendre Miller in TCU.
And here is a huge game situation, Jason. TCU deferred. Trusted their defense, and there's those legs once again.
He's a
Mr. Miller.
He's a powerhouse.
Yep.
I mean, really. Quick throw to the outside. There he is in space this time. And a little sidestep. And you see, he told us yesterday he was a little guy growing up, so he got that shifty backfield first. Then he got big.
Yeah, and then he's added 220 pounds to the frame, and he's top 5 in the country. Good blocks in front of him and breaking that tackle right there. Fortin forces more missed tackles than anybody but 5 guys in America.
So they bring 4 in green on a 1st down run.
So Max, take your time right here. Right? You do not need to give the Bears another possession. These are what championship teams do. You capture game situations. You own the final minutes before a half. And then coming out, you get the ball to begin it. Critical here, you do not give the Bears another opportunity offensively.
What you're saying, though, sounds a little bit like driving a Maserati in a school zone, considering how many big plays are in this offense. But it's the right strategic effort. This to the outside, DeMercado, and he is out of bounds. I agree with you. It's just not the way this offense necessarily is built.
And obviously, if there's a shot and there's an opportunity, you go get it. But when you can take that play clock down, now not in play because you go out of bounds, but when you do get those opportunities to control, you can control before the snap with the clock, you do it.
Second third down of the day for TCU. Duggan down the middle and incomplete behind Spivey, and it's fourth down for the Horned Frogs.
That's a couple times, and Max knows it right when it leaves his hand. Just the big body Spivey at 6'6". There's a linebacker in zone coverage inside. Doyle's waiting, but he knows right there. Maybe take it a little higher so you're not running into the linebacker Doyle. And that's what he's telling Garrett right now. Just don't take that angle into the linebacker. If Spivey keeps it higher, we get a chance to convert.
Okay, so 4th and 9 from the +37, and TCU is going to punt it here. We'll see if that plays out well for them. Jordy Sandy's been very good putting the ball inside the 20. This one checks up, so you're going to end up with a net of about 24 yards here. A $1:37 left for Baylor. We'll see if the Bears take a shot in a tie game, one of 4 unbeatens remaining in a deadlock. Gets a chance to get the ball back.
Familiar kids, recruit similar kids, big developmental programs under Aranda, Gary Patterson before that. So probably a big reason why there have been so many closely contested games.
Not much of a drive away from one another. Hour and a half, 2 hours. Squirrel Williams gets to the fridge and carries it out of bounds at a $1.50 to go.
You got to pay that decision off here if you're TCU, right? A different decision than Baylor would have made. They punted, played the field position game, and that's where Sonny Dykes is expecting this defense. Hey, go get a stop, pin them back here, keep them down there, and you could see the difference in execution, and in particular that run game. That run game is what sets up their shots and their movement that's been most successful.
Sonny Dykes deciding to punt the ball away. Baylor. Baldwin with the catch. He's got the first down. We asked Dave Aranda why some people, he thinks, don't like analytics or get angry at analytics, which he uses quite a bit. And he said people just don't like being told what to do in any walk of life. They don't want a book to tell them what to do. He's willing to use the information as this gets to the edge for Quaylon Jones, and it's second down.
I think you have to be careful anytime you use it as an absolute in a game that's fluid and nimble with data that's going to change. And in Sonny Dykes and Joe Gillespie and the defense he believes in, I want to pin him back. I want to make them drive at 80 yards. I don't want to give them any chance of momentum that would come with the 4th down stop.
Second and 6 for Chapin. Right down the middle, the freshman Cameron, short of midfield. First down. He is down.
This is his #1 route when you study Chapin. This is what he loves to do more than anything else, that crossing route. Some 60% of his attempts are on in cuts, and you can see the rhythm, man. That ball spins beautifully off his hands.
Chapin scanning, turning the opposite side of the field, now coming back this direction on the roll, throwing to the sideline and incomplete to set up second down. Quaylon Jones had it go through his hands.
The second time we've seen Baylor, and I thought it was cool both times. Jeff Grimes, his coordinator, said, hey, part of the reason I took this job and left BYU is I watched this kid from Shreveport, Tim Brando's hometown. I watched him and I loved him. He reminded me of the #2 pick in the NFL draft that I developed in Zach Wilson. I see the same game. We just got to get him like Zach did, and he had to learn it at BYU to just let it rip and trust that skill set.
We saw it last year. I mean, he just came in and ran this team when Jerry Bohannon was injured and when he took the job. Chapin a little bit high again. It's incomplete for Baldwin, and it's third down.
Sometimes as a 6-foot quarterback, you get people in your face, right? And that when he misses, it's typically there. And it's because he feels some of that. And he's been hit a bunch today. 11 pressures, 4 hits, one of them vicious, a sack. But when he gets bodies around him as a 6-foot QB, a little hard to pull and get that ball down over the top.
Third down, Chapin. Right down the middle again, and this one is right on the money. It's a first down for the Baylor Bears across midfield, and how about that throw? It's Cameron Bonner with the grab. And man, are they fired up for that young man who doesn't get a lot of run. And Cameron Bonner moves the sticks.
It is right off of the linebacker Hodges, and there's little room. You can see Shapen looks to his left, and he knows he's throwing it right off the ear hole of that linebacker Hodges. And because of the anticipation and the steam, he couldn't knock it down.
While we have a moment, let's take a look at our Pacific Life game summary, sponsored by Pacific Life, creating financial security for more than 150 years. Max Duggan just hadn't had the ball a lot.
Well, Baylor on pace for almost 600 yards of offense, and that time of possession is telling. 22 minutes for the entirety of the game versus K-State for Baylor a week ago. Stark contrast to the previous 3 weeks. 40 minutes, 33 in their 3 wins. So a harbinger, Dave Aranda's hoping of good things to come.
First career catch for Bonner leads to this from Shapen, and this one is right there for Monterey. Baldwin again.
Rolling on the field as a catch for a first down.
Well, they are attacking the middle of the field in the zone defense.
Got to the line quickly. This time again, it's Baldwin to the outside. Out of bounds, 18 seconds to go in the half.
You've been able to conserve those 2 timeouts. So whatever you want here in the middle has been open against this zone. TCU trying to drop 8. They love to play man-to-man. That's been their bread and butter, but making Baylor drive the long field, been a lot of zone. And now with 18 seconds, 2 timeouts, at least 3 cracks.
You talk about the confidence maybe waning for Shapen in recent weeks. This is a whale of a confidence builder bubbling at the end of the first half against unbeaten TCU. Shapen checks it down, goes to the outside, and a first down for Kelsey Johnson. 11 seconds to go first half. So 11 seconds gives you a couple of chances, you would imagine, right?
Oh, 100%, especially with the 2 timeouts. If you're Shapen here, you do want 2 at-bats. So there's not a time to go scrambling around, go crazy. Make sure you give yourself at least 2 opportunities.
Shapen throws it, end zone, intercepted! Bud Clark picks it off, and that is the end of that Baylor
interception. Touchback, first down, TCU.
Well, Bud just showed you why he's the #1 interception guy with 3, now 4 on the season. He kind of baits. You're going to watch him here. These safeties can be so sneaky. He kind of baits a little bit, Shapen into that throw. Because initially on the corner route as a QB, you see it, but then he closes that, and most importantly, goes up and gets it. And yes, that is a throw that's got to be to the back pylon, your guy or nobody's. Shapen leaves it hanging in the air. Clark gets his 4th.
It sailed, but not like a ball that typically sails out of the end zone. It sailed, kind of faded on him. And so TCU gets another turnover. They're +8 for the year. Coming up at the half, stay tuned. Mike Hill, Brady Quinn, Reggie Bush, Matt Leinart, Urban Meyer in the State Farm halftime show. Maybe a trap game for Michigan, a lot of Big Ten stuff. Noah Rauschenberg to kick to Amari DiMercado. 30 minutes to determine how many unbeatens are left in college football here in Waco. And a touchback starts it downstairs to Bruce.
Hey, Jason, I just talked to Dave Aranda, and I said, what did you tell the team? He goes, listen, you know, we have a mistake. Our guys come off the field, their heads are down. It's here we go again. He goes, we can't have that mentality. It's got to be a 0-0 mindset. Let's go, let's get focused, and let's stay positive. And he's really concerned about them just hanging their heads when something goes wrong. He's seen it time and again.
We'll watch the body language. Thank you for that, Bruce, here in the second half. And Dave Aranda, it feels like all year, we've been here a couple of times, a couple of data points. He's been trying to figure out what this team is.
Yep. And his competitor knows who they are.
That is a great point. Major contrast here. Duggan steps up and throws out of bounds. It'll be 2nd and 10.
Yeah, these guys in white know, and Max Duggan in particular, over the course of his career in this season, you got to weather the storm. Right, you've got to go through the ups and the downs and just outlast. If you're going to go undefeated, if you're going to get to a playoff, you're going to win this Big 12, it's not the first 30 minutes. And in this matchup, time and time again, it's been the final 5 minutes.
That's Max Duggan's entire career is weather the storm, with health issues and with losing his starting job and everything that's gone along with it. Here he is, helming unbeaten TCU, and he threads that one through for Johnston. That was Savion Williams, I should say, on the catch. The pass was in peril, and he did make the catch.
Yeah, this is a big body. It's the only reason this deep curl route right here is caught, because Mark Milton jumps it, but he can't get through the frame. You know, Bruce told us yesterday on the practice field, Savion Williams is a giant, 6'5", 215, and that size was the difference in that completion.
First down, TCU. DeMercado, Al Walcott the stop. 2nd down coming up.
Al Walcott on the tackle. 2nd down.
Kendre Miller in the first half, 7 carries, 24 yards.
Not enough. Not enough conversions, not enough plays. But you know he is 1 carry away at any time from a house call, too.
Sidestep from Duggan. DeMercado out of the backfield, leans forward, and if he stayed in bounds, we'll see where the spot is for DeMercado, and he's very close to the line of game.
This is really good from the senior Duggan. This is what years and years of experience should gain you, and that is that clock slowing down, right? Going from 1 to 2 to 3 and ultimately to 4. You're going to see him just a little shuffle in the pocket. Doesn't like it, knows exactly where his outlet is to set up a 3rd and short.
Duggan on the run is hit and breaks the tackle to come up with a 1st down.
He just loves contact, man. That is the name of the game. He sees immediately there at the end, Matt Jones crashing, and right now, you know, there's not going to be 1 bear. There's not going to be 2 bears. You're going to have to run through 3 to move the chains.
Miller back in. He's in there to block. Now he sneaks out. Throw by Duggan. The other direction is dropped by Johnston. A rare put the ball on the ground situation for Johnston.
Well, big boy Ika is in the backfield once again, not just a run stuffer. He is going to work, and he's going to work, and he's going to get once again right in the face and knock Duggan to the ground. Yeah, that ball had a little wobble to it. There is a little breeze down there. Johnston is feeling the zone defender come and hit him, and Duggan is feeling Mr. Ika putting him on the ground.
Ika knocked his fanny pack off. 2nd down run. That's Kendre Miller looking for a crease. It's not there, and he's driven backward. Garmin Randolph had the shoulder into him, among others. It's 3rd down.
There's a lot of Bears around the line of scrimmage committed to stopping that man. That was the plan today. Do not let 33 get started, and now let this crowd behind Ron Roberts get involved.
They're 119th in the nation on 3rd down defense. Got to get to the 41. Duggan scanning, waiting, firing, and it is Devin Lemire who reaches out, and let's see, they're going to say incomplete.
On the field,
incomplete pass.
4th down.
Lemire was the guy in the area. It's incomplete.
It looked in real time like this did bobble and hit the ground. And it does. Literally, the hands aren't underneath. I think he was trying to go to Spivey. He had a completion to 12. That ball airmails over the top. And there's another dead possession and giving Dave Aranda the opportunity to put more and more plays. You can see the red hair blowing in the winds a little bit. Ball from both of these quarterbacks getting away from him a few times.
Swirling on a raw day here in Waco. And Jordy Sandy, who again hangs one high in the air and forces the opponent inside the 20.
Timeout on the field.
Devin Lemire, who got a little run as a freshman last year, thought he had himself a pick. Not so much. Baylor sees the ball for the first time here in the second half after TCU bogged down. From the 16. It's Richard Reese on the handoff, and he is knocked down behind the line by Terrell Cooper, the sixth-year senior.
Take a look at the difference, and this is going to be the conversation at halftime. Watch Cooper set the edge better here. Time and again in that first half, in any of the run game, they could not do that. But that time, the adjustment by Cooper, that outside arm free, running through contact, actually creating the tackle for loss.
That's the key to a good edge set. Run through.
All of it.
Chapin to throw. That's incomplete. He wanted Sims well off the mark. 3rd and 13.
Well, Sims fell down out of his little outcut right there. He slips, a little bit of contact. The #1 receiver this year in receptions, you're going to see him slip, and that is the difference. And for Chapin, he's fortunate this didn't go the other way.
It's a season of mental wear and tear on Blake Chapin.
Stress face.
Third and 13. Chapin launches downfield, tipped away. Millard Bradford with the punch like he was playing volleyball, and it's 4th down.
Just one hitch too many. And I hate to just keep saying that, but you can't wait on these vertical game throws. Dave Aranda knows it. It's a pretty good concept. You get a one-on-one situation, but Bradford, like we have seen Bud Clark do as well, just closes that space and some of that separation. Got to be a hitch and throw, double hitch. Ball's in the air too long.
You saw the frustration in a receiver or two as well as Isaac Power punched for the first time, and there's some movement at the line. There is a flag down, evidently no contact at the line because the play wasn't stopped. And so Tay Barber on the return. There's a second flag coming in as well.
You're not going for it on 4th and 8, are you?
Not there. What's wrong with you?
Well, come in this building, you never know.
I agree with that.
I just think it's important to set some boundaries for Sonny Dykes.
I understand.
Some sense of guardrails, because against Dave Aranda, you never really know.
Well, we asked him yesterday. We said, is it kind of like playing against somebody at the poker table who doesn't exactly play by the rules of the game? And he said, well, yes, and funny story, ...
And it was a good story.
Yeah, it was a good story about that Texas Tech staff and some cards they played over the course of time in the early 2000s.
I'll tell you, that's where they missed Darius Davis, too. One of the best returners. 2 fouls on the
play, both by the return team. Offside, number 34, return team. That penalty is declined. Personal foul, illegal blindside block, number 26, return team. That'll be 15-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. First down, timeout.
Yeah, so 15 instead of 5. 14 all. TCU unbeaten with their season ball in the afternoon. So glad we got to see lunchtime there. First down for TCU after the blindside block that Sonny Dykes did not like, and Tate Barber can't get outside. He's knocked down by Christian Morgan. Bruce downstairs.
Jason, Sonny Dykes talked to me. He was not really that concerned about their run game. He goes, look, we just got to stick with it. He obviously knows Baylor is committed to slowing Kendre Miller down. The other side of the ball is a bigger issue. He said, listen, really, they're doing a lot of stuff where we're giving us false keys, and we got to slow down and play a lot more discipline on defense. That's the big challenges for him.
Bruce, that's the misdirection that Jeff Grimes wanted to and has created so far. Kendre Miller, again, just a blast at contact on that hard run again.
That's a safety. It's not Mark Milton, bless your heart. It is a safety in Devin Neal, and you could hear the sidelines wanting a holding call. Felt like hands were outside the frame on Marshall. They don't get it, and it's a first down TCU.
Carry number 9 for Kendre Miller. This is Quentin Johnston, who hops out of a tackle and out of bounds. A medium gain on first down.
Yeah, this is, to me, Miller, Johnston, Duggan time. Second half on the road. Not a whole lot of plays, and what you have done well this season is wear people out. You've gotten to late rounds, and it's been you, the team, that's been the best in the fourth quarter. Game 11, playoffs on the line. It is Johnston, it is Duggan, it is Miller. It's your best getting the majority of the touches.
24 minutes to the finish line for Max Duggan, who loads up a throw right down the middle of the field, again into traffic. Intercepted by Devin Neal. He just took a shot, got up, and grabbed the ball.
And it's late. Now, I've said this a bunch today, and Johnston comes up hobbling. He's going to run the deep post, and if Duggan can get it out earlier now. But he is late because he's got to move in the pocket. Franklin got a little bit of a rush on him. Duggan had to hold it, and it's a double coverage. No good for TCU.
Just the third interception from Max Duggan's hand this year, and Baylor takes over next. Not asked how many Dalmatian hats will be worn at the game. And after that, there is the squirrel on the run back to the clicker on the pick.
You've heard me talk a lot about timing. This is going to be a deep post route here. Sonny Dykes said one of the great things about Max and why he's so good at deep balls is he throws on time. He needs to throw right now, but he can't. You could see the pressure here. It forces that extra shuffle, and because of it, it's about a 10-yard difference. If he could have thrown that on time and on rhythm, it's a touchdown. Dykes knows it, but that pressure by Franklin, that having to move and slide, took too long deep down the field.
That's Quentin Johnston's friend growing up, TJ Franklin with the pressure, and Johnston was hurt on that play, by the way. It's going to be a loss of 1.5 for Reese because of Bud Clark, who's had a heck of a game so far.
Yeah, and the other 4 white helmets that were right there in that run game. You think they got a little talking to at halftime about stopping the run and making Blake Shapen beat him?
It seems like it.
Yeah. And the veteran team is responding.
See how Johnston is during the next TCU offensive possession. He had been dealing with an ankle injury for weeks.
These in cuts, that's been the big play for Baylor in situations like this.
3rd and 5. Shapen looking at the middle of the field. Instead, he dumps it off for Reese, trying to break a tackle, and he can't do it. So now, because of Mark Perry's tackle, it's 4th and 2, and it's punt time.
You say that so confidently.
The running on the field, I hope I'm right.
I never know. He does look here. He wants that in-breaking route. TCU does a good job. 3 over 2. The right play to get to the check down, but a better tackle on the perimeter. One of those veteran transfers from Colorado, Mark Perry.
Tate Barber in for the injured Darius Davis. 4th and 1.
Got him to jump last time.
Power does boot it away. It's a line drive, very returnable for Barber. Looking for the edge. Barber Hemmed in nicely by Mark Milton, and TCU will have it around midfield at 6 and change in the third quarter. It's a short field for the undefeated Horned Frogs in chilly Waco. Honestly, this is pregame here in Waco. The strength and conditioning staff just lights up the players as they walk through, just to remind them what it's like to get hit before the game.
Got to wake up that nervous system, especially with an early kick at 9 this morning. That Cowboy had some swag too.
The bolo. It's good stuff. First down run, Kendre Miller off the hesitation, somehow makes his way through for a couple of yards.
You got to feed that guy because it sets up these shots down the field. That was the first miss. But this is the area right here, intermediate, that Baylor, I think today, they'll live with the quick stuff. They know the ball is going to come out. The deep stuff, 2 for 3, but the intermediate game, that's the area where Max Duggan, for this offense, final weeks of the season with tendencies pretty well built, can they have some efficiency at that second level?
On 2nd and 5. Duggan right down the middle, and there it is. As you said it, it's Gunnar Henderson.
This ball is driven too. There is a little breeze today. This is zone coverage and that vertical concept. He loves throwing it, and Henderson wastes no movement running right down the hash.
A former walk-on for a 20-yard intermediate hit, and there he is again, wide open for the touchdown. It's the Gunnar Henderson drive for TCU.
Ron Roberts said this is the problem with Baylor defensively this year. We'll play a lot of good snaps, and then we will flat out bust. We will make mistakes and decisions that are inexplicable to this Baylor staff. That passing chart, pretty indicative. They faked the little quick screen. 3 Bears jump it. Henderson runs free.
The 9th catch of the year, 8th and 9th for Henderson. That doinks off the upright, and it's no good. Oh boy, that could be huge in this tight game. He had made 77 straight point afters coming into the game, by the way.
So you're going to fake the little quick screen to the left. You're going to run the vertical, and you can see total miscommunication. The Bears there defensively just not doing their job. And it doesn't get easier than this right here. But that's that passing chart, right? Everything is short. Here's a little bubble screen here. We're going to spit it out short, or we're going to take deep shots. Nope. This time we're going to do a little different this series. 2 seam routes, 2 verticals to the Incarnate Word transfer, and an awfully big touchdown.
What do you think is more fun for Gunnar Henderson? That touchdown or making the media credentials before the Oklahoma game because he's a sports information department intern? That sounds like a riveting day, but I would imagine this is a little better.
That is a deep dive by Jason Benetti. Well done.
Don't you ask every sports information director who makes your credentials on the football team? TCU misses the extra point, though. Kell with his first miss in a long, long while. And Baylor gets it back down by 6. And up in the air goes Monterey Baldwin. Hey, the 2022 FIFA World Cup begins tomorrow.
Let's go!
On Monday. On Monday, Christian Pulisic and Team USA play their long-awaited opener against Wales. Coverage starts at 1 Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific on Fox. And you could win $1 million as well. Fill out your World Cup bracket right now at foxsports.com/bracket and play for free.
Bro, we've been promoting that all season, and we're here.
Noon suits you very well early in the day. This is Kelsey Johnson, who had the rushing touchdown earlier.
And get back to what worked. Get back to misdirection. Those false keys that Bruce Feldman was talking with Sonny Dykes. Get back to misdirection and getting Shapen out of the pocket. When they've gotten into rhythm today with Jeff Grimes, the majority of it has been plays just like that, to the right and with Shapen to the left as well. But misdirection will be the key here in the final 20 minutes.
Jeff Grimes also very happy to have Kelsey Johnson back. They lost Drake Dabney. Johnson back into the lineup. He had the rushing touchdown earlier, and he's got a first down here for Shapen. That is going to be a timeout, Baylor. They might want that later as well. Hey, coming up next on Fox, college football action continues. Iowa and Minnesota in that wild Big Ten West. Then at 8 Eastern, 7th-ranked USC against number 16 UCLA. USC with a win gets into the Pac-12 title game. UCLA wants to be in the mix as well. That's all coming up next on Fox and the Fox Sports app. And it is a bookend day of Riley's here on Fox College Football with Garrett over on the sideline for TCU. And look at, first of all, look at that sweater. Is that a duck for little Garrett Riley? That is like the largest bird ever on a sweater. And then at Muleshoe High School, Lincoln and Garrett Riley, a couple years separating them. And there's a picture of them in college football as well. They don't talk a whole lot in season strategy-wise, but they have huge games today. Huge.
Two innovative, creative coordinators that do just a terrific job. And I think that Riley family awfully proud of those two and what they've done in leading their programs. Obviously, Lincoln is a head coach. Garrett will be a head coach one day. I don't think any question about that, and their offense is firing.
Well, Garrett talked to us about his time at Appalachian State and how that kind of changed his mindset a little bit. It's interesting to watch them both work offensively because it's not exactly the same stuff. Here's a counter for Reese. More misdirection and a first down.
That's the third time they have run that hand back counter. And you can see Shapen sticking that ball out, and it's like a dog, a hungry dog on his meal, and all those defenders just sniffing. And then they peel back, and Mazuka in the game now at that left guard where he's been all season long. But that's 3 for 3. You will see that. And you may see a play action shot off of that. I'm sure they've got that written up as well, because it's been effective against this fast flow defense.
I wonder how many setup plays we've seen for the fourth quarter here with all that misdirection. There's motion again. That was Williams. Now Shapen steps up and he will run. A vacated left side. He takes contact from Hodges Tomlinson and invited it.
That's your throwing shoulder. I don't understand it with some young guys. You don't show your bravery and heart by running through a corner. You show it by being available and durable, and especially with your throwing arm. Protect yourself.
Williams has a crease. Squirrel Williams short of the 25-yard line and a first down for Baylor.
That's an excellent job. This all starts with Ben Sims. If you don't make the block, the tight end to set the big men up in front, right? We've seen this with them today when they've had success. It's been setting that edge and allowing Gall, Byers, Miller, the big guys to get out front. And terrific by the true freshman once again, too.
Kelsey Johnson's had an important day so far for this Baylor offense.
These guys right here, they're going to motion them over now, but watch those blocks in the run game. They set the table.
With Presley in motion, they'll run it again with Williams putting the head down. Craig Williams, you heard us calling him Squirrel. He's got the nickname because his grandfather had a squirrel cage, and he was the guy. He was the guy that ran around and caught a squirrel. He said it took him about 20 minutes when he was young, and chased it on down. Got enough speed.
And why the 6-letter spelling with a W?
S-Q-W-I-R-L. His dad said the regular squirrel was too long, wasn't catchy enough, so let's add a W. Second and 7. Reese cutting back. It's a first down for Baylor.
Talk about those rhinos dancing. Watch the footwork here of that offensive line. They're all in rhythm. Left, right. And it creates movement in those seams and creases. It's a 175-pound true freshman that is time and again sticking his nose right there into contact.
He is the freshman rush leader in a Baylor single season now after his performance today. Fake it to Baldwin. Shapen cutting back, and he's got about 3.
So we're in that area where Sonny Dykes, and again, I love the instincts and wisdom. He knew the way this game was going to unfold matchup-wise, and said to us very clearly yesterday, red zone. This game will likely come down to these snaps in this area of the field. They often do with championship games. Jeff Grimes has done a masterful job moving pieces around, misdirection against Joe Gillespie's crew. Pivotal area of the field.
It's another run, and that is smothered. Dominic Williams, the 18-year-old, was all over Reese.
My goodness, the 320-pounder can't play it better. Gets his hands on the 6-year senior Gaul. He's given up about 5 years on him. But a little more strength and power, and that time he won at the point of attack.
We saw Baylor in the red zone have Shapen throw a pick at the end of the first half. A 3rd and 7 is just around the corner with 15 minutes to go, maybe in TCU's unbeaten season. We'll find out together. Stepping on the door.
Tight ends, got to use them.
Couple of them attached to the formation. It's play action. Shapen to throw to the end zone. You're right. Kelsey Johnson, touchdown.
Rolling on the field's a touchdown.
Jason, punch to the mouth right there. These Bears have had to fight and scratch and claw in their passing game. They don't have a big-bodied receiver, and you're seeing Kelsey Johnson have a career day. A touchdown running, that time on the naked throwing. Tight ends are weapons in the red zone.
Kelsey Johnson is from Red Oak, Texas, which is much closer to the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex than it is Waco. But he ends up here at Baylor, and he's got 2 scores against what you could call his hometown team in the Big 12.
You get in this tight formation, and we love crossing routes, right? You get in the tight formation here, the little naked concept, the boot. And you can just see in that coverage and the comfort that Shapen has throwing it. Just put it on the body. There's an advantage. Look at the size and strength of that true freshman. So when Bud Clark comes through with contact, doesn't matter. He uses that frame like a great basketball player, right? Just blocking out, posting up, just getting me the ball on my numbers.
I was just going to say that looked very much like a box out by Kelsey Johnson. And now Sonny Dykes, look, there's one thing that this team knows it can do in purple and white, and that is come back late in a game. They've done it all year long, but Baylor may not let them see the ball very much.
That's right. That's the difference. I mean, all year long, other than West Virginia, they've been in control. They've worn people down. They've had time of possession. As you said, over 30 minutes now for Baylor. They've had the ball, and TCU has not been able to get into a lot of rhythm.
Line drive kick into the end zone, and that is a touchback. We've got a whole video package of second-half comebacks. They've had so many of them. Trailed by 7 against Kansas, won by 7. That Oklahoma State game was really a signature win for Max Duggan. Down 14, out of nowhere they come back and win. Kansas State, they're down big again and came back to win. And the Texas Tech game, the Red Raiders went for it on 4th down a couple times. TCU got a couple stops, had the ball late, won by 10.
These are all in the second half. Time and again, and Sonny Dykes is poised. He believes in these guys. He trusts the veteran team, and this is how they've been built all season long.
Looks like they might have to do it without Quentin Johnston, who was hobbled earlier. Quick throw for the freshman Trent Battle, and he leans forward for a first down TCU.
Excellent job on the perimeter there by Spivey and Conwright. You're going to watch the two to the left. This is a Riley principle. You'll see with USC tonight. A ton, I'm sure, too. Get the ball on the perimeter, get a couple receiver blocks. Pick up a big first down gain.
They're going to have to do this without Quentin Johnston right now and without Darius Davis, who has not played all game long. They're 2 top wide receivers on the perimeter. Some new faces. Duggan throws and got it right there to the 44, and Blair Conwright, the junior out of Lubbock, does have the first down.
He's thrown into a huge role today. 2 receptions. He's played in every game. Lots of special teams. He's taken that X receiver spot that Quentin Johnson would be in. There's the veteran Duggan said, I don't care who's in. I don't care what you've done in the past. I'm going to elevate the people around me.
Well, he's talked about, to us, Council Bluffs, Iowa, being a tough town, doesn't really like excuses. And he is the perfect guy for this situation. Duggan takes it outside and got a yard around Jones.
Second down.
Undefeated TCU on the brink here. USC, UCLA, Pac-12 title hopes for both teams later on. Gus and Joel will be there. Their friend Allison Williams. There's Quentin Johnston, big play receiver, not on the field right now. Duggan feels the heat. There's a penalty marker down. Looks like it might be a hold, and he goes sprawling out.
That's a two-point takedown on the right guard, John Lands. Maxwell doesn't like it, but it's going to draw the holding call.
Holding, number 53, offense, 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. Still second down.
So Baylor has been committed to this. Look at the number of Bears at the line of scrimmage. I mean, they are going to rush 5 guys, and you're going to see the right guard gets beat there, and all he can do. It's good on the wrestling mat. Not great in the mosh pit.
Well, you said in the open, they were sick of protecting their cornerbacks and dropping guys back. They're coming with pressure today, win or lose.
And I think without Davis and Johnston, you feel even more comfortable.
2nd and 19, pressure right up the middle this time. Duggan eludes it, and he gets down to the 44. Dave Hall came shooting in.
Yeah, this is a great stunt. Once again, 5 Bears. So it's all one-on-one blocks, and you get a perfect stunt there, not passed off, and not for Duggan's legs. This will be 3rd and even longer.
Boy, you feel like this is a huge play considering how much clock Baylor has sapped off in this game.
And then this PAT.
Pressure from Walcott. Duggan feels it. He throws it. Sideline into traffic. And Duggan had no opportunity to make that thing go.
Yeah, pretty good coverage. This is odd. Some new people on the field. They wanted to throw a little screen right there. That's why you see the receiver blocking down the field. Williams, I'm like, why isn't he running a route? There's no outlet there. But they were trying to run that screen to the receiver. Duggan couldn't get it to him. What a stop.
Jordy Sandy just got that away and went flashing down to the ground. Ball is on the deck. Baldwin got on top of it. Oh, boy.
Timeout on the field.
How is this thing going to end? To Monterey Baldwin and everybody watching, hang on. Numbers go at the end of this one with Baylor in control of the ball up 1.
Stay with that misdirection. Stay with the movement. Shaping out of the pocket. Been so devastating today.
Baylor will try to shorten the game. It is Williams, and he is sent backward. Bradford was in first, and we mentioned the time of possession being an issue for TCU as this game comes to a close. Last 4 games, you see the difference for Baylor. Yep.
I think it's huge for them. I'm curious, one thing that stands out, Jason, is I don't see a tired TCU defense. Even as many snaps as they've played, I think a big part of that is how much rotation and substitutions they will do with that being their 7th tackle for loss.
Set up 2nd and 14. Chapin takes a couple of yards worth for Squirrel Williams again, and it's 3rd and long.
Would you agree? There's times we watch defenses that are on the field this long, and you're like, oh, they're done. Like they're just sapped. I don't feel that from this team in white.
And you can see it in Grimes' play calling, too. It's not like he's just lining up and running straight ahead and with a fatigued defense, right? That's not his idea of what he's looking at.
Take care of the ball here, Blake Chapin, and again, in cuts. Right? Routes like this is what they love to do.
Sims, the tight end, in motion. Chapin, quick throw, Monterey Baldwin, right down the middle, there he goes! Monterey Baldwin inside the 15!
They get in those formations, Jason, and it's a tell. And they do a terrific job of running that route off of it. It's almost a mesh concept down the field that is totally clean. Chapin knows he's going to take a shot, but he loves throwing that like a shortstop to first base. And he's going to be a sore bear tomorrow.
Might be a very happy bear, though. Monterey Baldwin, who was not at full strength last week, turned on the Jets there. It's a first down for Baylor. It's a run and a hard one at that. Down to the 1-yard line for the freshman Reese.
Okay, Kendra Miller, you can squat 650, and I may weigh 175, but I am pound for pound just as strong, and when I get a chance to run through a safety, the true freshman delivers, and I love his high school mascot, the Brahmas.
The Brahmas from Belleville.
And he runs like one. Senior right here. It's his block that's the difference. Khalil Key's got to come down, and he gets to the legs, and because of it, if he's not the squirrel, that's Mr. Williams. Mr. Reese, though, knows how to duck in and out and use his frame for the pivotal touchdown.
Belleville High School, same high school as Emmanuel Sanders, who had some wonderful days at SMU down the road a piece. However, Richard Reese has an entire town rooting for him right now.
I love that conversation with Coach. There was no wasted movement. You didn't hesitate. You pulled the trigger. You run through defenders. And you smell that touchdown for the 14th time.
Jeff Grimes told us that one of the things about this run game at points that Richard Reese has been kind of wants to beat people with his speed to the outside instead of take the gap. Monterey Baldwin will beat everybody with his speed 74 yards away, but the power for Reese pays it off, and it's 28-20 Baylor over unbeaten.
Tomlinson, #1, he makes the contact on Hal Presley and allows Baldwin to cut off of it. You're going to see Sonny Dykes' reaction. He is furious. He's been furious a lot today, but he was giving the referees an earful. I don't think he's a reason to. I think that is well done and well timed by the Baylor Bears. Mike Pereira, do you see any offensive pass interference on that play?
No, Brock, I mean, I agree with you totally. The receiver's going to run to the inside, break to the inside, and it's the defender that initiates the contact. So you can't have offensive pass interference. And Sonny's, he's mad a lot, but he's going to see in the film here that he's actually wrong here.
Yeah, and I think in real time, Mike, I get it. I mean, he sees it once. He doesn't see the replays and everything we're looking at. And I think in real time, that's why he is beat red in the face and giving the whole crew, the zebras, an earful. The guys in the black and white were right.
You can feel the tension of what's on the line, too, in his face. Absolutely. First down for TCU. They will run it, and it's a short gain. Downstairs, Bruce.
Jason, Quentin Johnston rolled his ankle on the pick in the third quarter. It's the same ankle that's been bothering him all year. He is doubtful to return.
That's an enormous blow. It was against Texas Tech. Duggan wasn't quite the same in that game from a rhythm and confidence standpoint. Huge blow to TCU.
Will this be the third Big 12 team to lose at 10-0 to Baylor? Duggan uncorks down the sideline, single coverage, a lot of contact in phase. Conwright matched up with Johnson.
And for Johnson, this is a different matchup. First, look at the cushion, 10 yards, stay on top, and that's not Quentin Johnson. So he's able to get right in the body of Conwright, right him out of bounds. And an enormous 3rd and 9, not just here, but around the country. Watching this one with the undefeated Horned Frogs.
In Knoxville and in Clemson and in Los Angeles. They all wait to see if the door swings open. Big pickup by DiMercado, but not enough. Dylan Doyle charged in there and got a hand up.
He went right into the block of DiMercado. And so many times young players stop, right? You're going to see DiMercado come up and with the block, and many times youngsters stop. They stop their feet. Not Dylan Doyle. The 5th-year player, the transfer from Iowa, does not stop and watch. He gets his hands up and forces the punt.
He is a philosopher off the field. He is a menace on the field. Dylan Doyle, who wanted to be coached by the cerebral Dave Aranda, came here from Iowa. And he talked to us about a month and a half ago about the 2 sides of the coin. The calm off the field, the fired up on, and his team is up 8. Then it's Minnesota, Michigan, Ohio State, noon Eastern on Fox. Michigan, Ohio State coming up next week. Baylor by 8 with the ball. And Squirrel Williams gets about 2 yards. How much time will come off the clock for Baylor on this drive?
Well, they're going to maximize that part of it. I also think this is a time where you can step on it too. You want to, all of that run and misdirection you've set up, we have not seen a shot off of it. We have not seen a long, extended play pass, because Joe Gillespie knows, yeah, Baylor's going to run it. They're committed to it. But he better be weary of the play action shot off of it.
Play clock was down to 7 as they snapped it, and they'll run straight ahead with Squirrel Williams. It's 3rd down coming up.
Well, Baylor's got nothing to lose, Jason. And obviously TCU has everything in these final 7+ minutes on the line.
Baylor still does have an outside shot at making the Big 12 title game with 3 losses. Kansas State has 2, and then the pack of teams with 3 losses. TCU has even loftier aspirations that are on the line right here. 3rd down and 4. Play action for Shapen. Will he run for it? Yes, he got hit on a slide. That should be a penalty, I believe. Jamoy Hodge, did he go straight into the slide or not?
That is a late slide, Jason. I actually...
You like the no call?
I do, especially in this moment. I understand it. But for a defender, it is so difficult. He initiates that, and you can see Hodge is basically... And he flies over the top of him, too. Gives his hands up a little bit. I like that no call in this moment of the game.
Jeff Grimes may not have wanted him to slide there. There was a 1st down available, especially with the way he didn't slide earlier, leaning into contact. Barber back to the 10, a fair catch there. With 6:48 to go for TCU off a 50-yard punt. Michigan is trailing right now. TCU is trailing right now. USC with a big test later on. So a major shakeup still available in the college football playoff rankings.
Tennessee, as we were sitting on the big noon kickoff set today with Matt Leinart and Brady Quinn talking about these, Tennessee is just sitting there watching it all happen around them. Won't play in the SEC title game. Got 2 more cracks at it. South Carolina, Vanderbilt. These losses could mean big things for the Volunteers.
Kendre Miller still not in for TCU. DiMercado's played the balance of the 2nd half. Duggan gets out quickly, and Barber gets met and dropped by McCarty. Downstairs, Bruce.
Guys, not only has TCU been without Derek Davis, but they've also now Quentin Johnston and Kendre Miller, their star running back, not with his helmet. Doesn't look like he's going to be going into the game anytime soon.
Max Duggan, you persevered for 4 years, buddy, and now you're going to have to do even more without 3 of your biggest stars around you.
The engine behind this big play offense. Duggan looking for an open man, throws it near side, and a beautiful jumping grab by Savion Williams.
He may be the guy. This is a lot of trust. This takes a long time down the field. It's going to be a corner route. A little fake here, and then he's going to read the space, turn out towards the corner. I mean, that's just playground stuff right there. And that is, again, Duggan believing in the personnel around him. Big time throwing catch.
Just go find a spot. Yep. Savion Williams did. Duggan, quick set, throws it very quickly, and Gunnar Henderson's third catch.
I kind of like this. Spread them out. Baylor's put a lot of numbers around the line of scrimmage all afternoon to stop the run, get into some of these empty sets and make it a little bit easier on that O-line.
Johnston wearing his helmet but not playing. Pressure from the far side in the secondary, and this run's going to end up about a yard short from DeMercado, with Ika and Doyle collaborating. Down to 5 minutes or so to go.
Like a little tempo too. You do not need to play this as like the last possession in the 2-point with 3 timeouts. Continue to play with good tempo, good rhythm,
and balance too, right? The run game's still available.
Got to move that giant, though.
Duggan, late decision. He keeps it, steps through, first down and more across the 35.
Yeah, you just knew this was coming, right? Just 6 guys at the line of scrimmage. Look at that box, 6 of them. Duggan reads it. He knows it. They're going to swallow up the run, and his legs critical again.
So comfortable in that space. He runs this time, and that just collapses on him. Ika was in there along with some others. It's second down and long. Max Duggan, who played for his father Jim in high school. Duggan very tough on himself. Sonny Dyke said he's worked through that. Still is, though. Now it's all on his shoulders for real here with so many skill guys off the field. Duggan looking downfield to throw that way. Middle of the field, and it's knocked away. Batted out of there by Milton.
You can almost feel these corners, can't you? Just gaining a little bit of confidence, right? Knowing that's not Quentin Johnson I got to go through. The 5th-year senior times it beautifully. And this crowd's as loud as they've been all afternoon.
In grave danger. Max Duggan unleashes down the middle. It's right there inside the 20-yard line, and a first down for Jared Wiley, the tight end.
First catch of the day. Tight ends are pivotal as you get near the end zone and the red zone. That big body, we've seen it on the other side with the Bears. The Texas transfer delivers one of the biggest moments of his career here. Use him again.
He was on the cross. Instead, it's a low throw, and it's Barber rescuing that ball just outside of the 10.
Boy, was that some kind of catch. Duggan's elevating others, but this time, Barber, a senior again. Senior, 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 senior. Look at that catch. That is so difficult at full speed, right off the shoelaces. And Duggan, rightfully so, says, Tay, way to pick me up.
He's named after the actor and dancer Tay Diggs, and you can see a little bit why on that catch. 2nd and 2, under 3 minutes to go for undefeated TCU.
Duggan's legs been so dangerous down here over the course of the season, but look at all the Bears at the line of scrimmage.
They back one off, and it's a run for DeMercado. First down and more inside the 5.
Is this championship stones or what? I mean, let's go. Players down, stars down, been down most of the season in second halves, and yet just the guts of this crew to respond. And doing a nice job of saving all of those timeouts, too.
Taking a lot of time off the clock. Sonny Dykes in his first year at TCU as the head coach. Dave Aranda known for his defensive prowess. First and goal, TCU. DeMercado hops and scores. Touchdown.
The field's touchdown. Let's go.
How about those tight ends? How about these guys right on the edge? Wiley with the third down catch. Carter Ware in the game, but no D'Annunzio out for the season. Run right behind those two, and DeMercado the power to score 6.
His first touchdown on the ground since game 4. They go empty for the moment. 2 for the tie. And it's dropped incomplete. DeMercado couldn't hang on. And is that the way the 0 in the loss column turns to 1 for the Horned Frogs?
Timeout on the field.
Wow. Said it during the break. That missed extra point makes all of this down the road happen.
And you can see Duggan, he's been that face for the last 5 minutes. And DeMercado, that's a throw as a QB, you know. You've got to put on the frame of the running back. Tay Barber picked him up, made an unbelievable catch. Receivers do that. Running backs, the throw's got to be on his frame. Those two both know it.
TCU kicks deep, holding 3 timeouts, so no onside kick. And Monterey Baldwin skates out of bounds. Let's take a look at our Pacific Life game summary, sponsored by Pacific Life, creating financial security for more than 150 years.
And what a game it has been. These two, when they match up, every one of them seems to be close. Here was the missed PAT, the first all season, and that doink was critical. TCU has responded. We're not on the field very much at all in that first half. It was Baylor's run game. There was a DeMercado touchdown, and here's the throw. Can DeMercado catch it? Absolutely. Will he say, I need to make the play? Yes. Does Duggan know to a running back? You just got, as best you can, put it on their frame. And he is wishing and hoping for one more shot.
Baylor last touch went 3 and out. This time they will run it straight up the middle, and it's Squirrel Williams thrown back by Dominic Williams. And TCU will use its first timeout.
He comes up, the Squirrel, a little gimpy.
How about Ika, who transfers here from LSU. And Baylor hoping on that sideline that they get the revenge they were looking for after losing to TCU for their second loss last year.
Reset the game clock. 1 minute, 59 seconds.
They're going to reset the game clock. Coming up after our game, be sure to stay with us for Coca-Cola College Football Extra. But right here, right now, it's a 2-point game for the Baylor Bears.
All right, Van Halen, let's go. I'll say this, Jason, this can be a defining moment. Obviously, Baylor has not done it. They've not responded. They've not been hit and responded this season near the way. Dave Aranda said it. The guys on the other side have. And he knows the last thing he wants to do is give Duggan another at-bat. In order to keep it away, you got to get a first down.
It's a run, and it's Quaylon Jones driven back. Terrell Cooper hopped on him, trying to wrestle the ball away. Now you only knock off a couple seconds, 5 of them there. There's a second timeout.
Gosh, and those are conservative calls.
30 seconds.
And Johnny Hodges, the player of the week defensively in the Big 12, makes that play so Cooper can get the tackle. But those are 2 plays where you're just lining up with no real misdirection, no real question. And now Jeff Grimes going to come out, going to have to come up with the biggest call of this game.
Yeah, what do you think it looks like? Are we talking screen? Are we talking tight end? What do you think this looks like?
The last care in the world I have is about that timeout for TCU. Everything's about my people. those in cuts. Again, you're playing your player's strengths. That's what Shapen's been good at, and moving the pocket and getting outside as well.
Max Duggan wants the ball back. It's play action. Shapen to run. Shapen diving, and he's going to be about 2 yards short of the line to gain.
Oh, and he had a first down if he throws it. Wow. He's got Ben Sims coming across. It's almost as if he predetermines on this that I'm going to use my legs. Because look at Ben Sims come open right there. Wow.
I can't help but think about what Jeff Grimes said about his conversation with Shapen, that he's trying to find the balance from taking care of the football and finding confidence, the in-between there, and he chose to take care of the football that time instead of let it rip.
Boy, that is, you nailed it. That's exactly what that was. And it was almost as if I'm not going to throw an incompletion. I'm going to make them force and use that last time out. But what was more pivotal was throwing to your senior Sims to win the game.
That's what it was right there. And now TCU has a late exit off the field. They do get that 12th player off, and Isaac Power sends it away through the chilly Saturday air to the 30-yard line, and off the spin, that's Tay Barber to the 31. Max Duggan, senior quarterback, Iowa native, tough kid, has a chance.
Oh, it has been all grit and toughness from him today, trusting his personnel. Doesn't matter who it is, Jason, around him. This was a gorgeous, explosive play deep down the field for 70. But it's been just the determination, the toughness, his legs, his willingness to be in this moment. There are a lot of people that get scared, that don't like these moments. Don't put me in the arena. Don't put it all on me. That is not number 1-5.
Kendre Miller's longest touchdown is 75 yards. Johnston is 55, and Darius Davis's is 80 this year. They're all off the field. So now you're looking at about 70 yards worth for an offense.
On the field of the previous play.
Let's see.
Under further review.
See if Darius Davis's, Tay Barber, see if Tay Barber's knee was down here. He's replacing Davis as the punt returner.
So we're talking about
a yard,
2 yards.
I think I see a shadow in between. Do you?
I see a difference of 2 or 3 yards, but more importantly, an opportunity for both sides, offensively and defensively, to set the table. And for Max Duggan, you saw it in his face after that missed two-point conversion.
The rolling on the field of the runner knockdown is confirmed. First down, TCU.
That look on Duggan's face was, oh my gosh, it was all right there. And the look now, let's go. Done it all season long. Let's go. Let's go find a way to win when it matters in the end.
Taped up hand, round 11 of the season for Max Duggan. 94 seconds to get into field goal range in the better side of the stadium to kick in so far today. Duggan, incomplete, short of DeMercado.
I like Savion Williams, 18. I think he's the guy that's got to get a touch at some point on this drive. He's your mismatch maker with all your other stars out at 6'5". He's the one I'm trying to create the bottom of the field a one-on-one for.
They are well off of him, as expected, in the secondary. Duggan lets it rip down the middle. That's right there. Tay Barber at midfield for TCU.
And that's another veteran. A beautiful catch on the previous possession. Zone coverage. Soft zone, and he finds it.
Duggan again. That's juggled and caught, and it is the guy you're talking about, Savion Williams.
Difference maker in plenty of time. No need to be in a hurry or a rush here if you're Max Duggan either.
Griffin Kell's long this year is 47. Duggan shimmying in the pocket. Feels the pressure, gets outside, steps through the possible tackle of Jackson. And they'll say he got out of bounds.
But not the first down.
It's that pesky 1 yard where if you get to 4th down, you have to burn some time to get that 1 yard.
Look at Dave Aranda. Not a lot of emotion very much, but he knows what's on the line right now.
Vengeance and a massive, stunning upset available for Baylor. Duggan runs for it, has the first down, and he's certainly around field goal range at this point.
And that was Ika, 340-pounder that had an arm on him. A big arm, but it couldn't bring down Duggan.
It's a run, it's DeMercado, and it's a couple of yards.
Ooh, and I don't know about that call.
Are you playing for the field goal here?
They are right now, and on a breezy, cold day, I'd like to continue to be aggressive.
Right back to the line, and it's a spike on 2nd and 7, so now it's 3rd and 7 with 22 seconds left, and the down marker is a rival.
3rd and 1, and whatever it takes. QB draw all the way here. Excuse me, this is the scramble to set up the 3rd and 1. He followed with the QB draw. Whatever it takes from Duggan to get it done.
The career long for Griffin Kell is 52, so they're well within that range. 3rd down, another run. DeMercado.
Gotta get on the field.
Yeah, you got a hustle here. Wow. A run, and now it's a total scramble. Emergency mode for the unbeaten Horned Frogs. Hypno-toad in a hurry. Griffin Kell for the win. TCU is undefeated still. Wow! Unreal!
Shaking. I can't believe what Sonny Dykes just did.
That is a walk-off